It's Eagles. It's Commanders. It's the NFC East. It's win it. Win the game and win the division. We're going to break it down. Final preview and prediction for Saturday afternoon's game, plus some Sixers talk as they finally get back on the hardwood this evening, tonight. Trending in the AM, taking your thoughts and opinions on the Eagles, the Sixers, maybe the Phillies, and anything else that comes up. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live on YouTube and Twitter. You know the drill. Wherever you're watching, live or on replay, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this show out. Would greatly appreciate you clicking those buttons. It's free to do. It's free to support a local channel. It's free to support a content creator by just making those clicks. It really costs you nothing, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel, and we got lots to get into today as we're on the eve of the Eagles facing the Washington Commanders for the first time this year, and on the eve of potentially winning our second straight NFC East, the first team to win back-to-back in a little over 20 years. So, big weekend of football here in Philadelphia, because win and we're in. Win and we guarantee a home playoff game. Win and there's no team in the NFL that will want to face us in January. Are we one of the scary teams come January? Are other teams really worried about the Eagles like I think they are? I think the answer to that is yes. I think once we get in and get healthy, nobody wants to face the Eagles because they're the defending champs, because they're getting right and playing well at the right moment. And is there a doubt that we'd win this game on Saturday? I don't think there is. Here's the thing. You know, we talk about the juggernaut Eagles schedule. We talk about how the schedule looked when it first came out. Man, were we scared of these final three games. We thought the division would come down to the wire these three games. That we'd need to win two or all three of them. Here we are sitting here, win one of the next three, and we're in. That Washington just doesn't look as scary as we thought they would. The initial perception of this end stretch of the schedule compared to the reality, it's a much bigger difference than we originally had planned. Good morning, Adam. How you doing? Yes, it's Football Friday. Let's go Birds. I did not watch last night's game. Obviously, I am seeing the highlights and the reports from the game. Obviously, Seattle was able to win a pretty big shootout last night. Stafford with over 450 yards, solidifying his MVP in a losing effort. Washington going down. I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, I'm looking at the Washington numbers. I'm looking at their stats. I'm looking at their team that we're going to be facing this week, and they're not good. And the Eagles should have no problem taking care of business on Saturday afternoon. Rams' record is as crap as Eagles now. I mean, I still think the Rams, not Seattle. Where's my sheet here? I closed my book. Where's my sheet on the other opponents these teams got to face? I had it all written down. There it is. The Rams still got to face Atlanta and the Cardinals. The Rams are winning two more games. Seattle's got the Panthers and 49ers. I think it's going to come down to the wire, the NFC West. I really do. Good morning, Little J. Hope you are well. Yes, let's kick some Commanders' butt. If you stayed awake for last night's Thursday night football game and then are still awake this morning, yeah. I don't have Prime in my bedroom, so I didn't watch it. I went to bed about 10:15 last night, and that's about when I turned that football game off. So, yeah. I don't pay for Prime, so don't get Prime in the bedroom. The free password that I got is in the living room only. I know, makes me sound cheap, Steve. But also, there's no way I was staying awake that late anyway to watch that football game, so it is what it is. It is actually a game that Eagles fans should probably go back, including myself, and rewatch, because there's a damn good chance that come January we're going to be playing at least one of those two teams, if not both of those teams, in playoff matchups. Whoever wins the NFC West probably gets the 1 seed in the NFC, right? Which means we could face them in the second or third round. Whoever loses the NFC West title will be a wild card team and potentially the Eagles' first round opponent. Last night's game probably was more important to us to watch as Eagles fans than we realize. Mariota is a mobile quarterback. We have to contain him. Absolutely. You know, the Eagles are not a great run defense still. They still got some holes to fix, some leaks to fix in the running game, right? We're still the 22nd ranked run defense in football. But one thing we have struggled with is containing mobile quarterbacks. We gave up over 50 yards of rushing to Patrick Mahomes, 50 yards or more of rushing to Justin Herbert, to Jackson Dart. We have struggled to contain mobile quarterbacks. And while obviously Merritt, great young running back for the Commanders, I don't worry about that. I mean, our run defense isn't great, but it's gotten better. But the run defense, when it's on the quarterback, has been an issue. And that's a huge step forward. This team needs to show that they can stop the mobile quarterback, contain him, and not let those 3rd and 7s turn into first downs because of it. Mariota blows. No one says he's good. Marcus Mariota is not a good quarterback anymore, but he's got a lot to prove at this point. Not a lot to prove, a lot to earn, as he'll be a free agent. Rest in peace, Greg Biffle. I saw that the other day. That's a sad, sad story. Plane crash, whole family died. That's sad. I mean, I don't know NASCAR, but I do know the name from when I used to occasionally watch it at the bars I worked at. For as good as the Eagles' defense is, the Eagles' success in the playoffs will start and finish with Hurts. I'm all in. And I think you're spot on, Steve. You still need Jalen Hurts to be special. You still need Jalen Hurts and the offense to click. And this week against Washington is another step forward for this offense to continue getting on track, to continue getting back to their winning ways. Now, I am keeping my eye not on Hurts in this specific game. I think this is the game where Saquon Barkley and the run offense should get going, should start building some momentum. But yes, I'm in all agreements. The Eagles' success in the playoffs start and finish with Jalen Hurts. Villanova is playing a semifinals of the FCS championship. We need to talk more about this and fill Villanova Stadium. You know what, Mark? Screw Villanova. You know my opinion on Villanova and the Wildcats. Once they backed the Nova Knicks in the playoffs a few years ago against the Sixers, I don't give a rat's ass how many former Nova players were on the Knicks. I don't care. Supporting the Knicks over the Sixers when you want to be considered a Philadelphia school. I didn't go to Villanova. Screw Villanova. I hope they lose. I hope the stadium's empty on Saturday night. And if you're watching that game over the Eagles-Commanders game, you ain't a real Eagles fan. There, I said it. Have we struggled containing quarterbacks when Nolan Smith is healthy? The Chargers game, I mean, Nolan Smith was still on a pitch count in that Chargers game. Yeah, so Maybe not. That's a fair statement, Nooms. The struggles against containing quarterbacks, Nolan Smith was either out or Nolan Smith was on a pitch count. Vic Fangio said this week that Nolan Smith is no longer on a pitch count, which means you're going to see a lot of Nolan Smith, Jalen Hunt, and Jalen Phillips, and that's it. The rotation is going to tighten up on the defensive end position. Hornets W, who, what? Alabama playoff game, huge tonight. Cool. Still glad we didn't go through with Mariota trade. We wouldn't have won the Super Bowl if we did. Obviously, the Chip Kelly era would have turned out differently. And we don't know. I mean, maybe Marcus Mariota and Chip Kelly needed to be together in the pros for them to have NFL success. I don't know. But yes, most likely nothing good ever comes if we do the deal. Hashtag do the deal. I know there's multiple firsts. I know Fletcher Cox was in the deal. That would have been a brutal disappointment in Philadelphia. Hindsight now. What's up, Bruce? How you doing this beautiful Friday morning? Warmed up a little bit today. Rained a lot last night. A lot of the snow melted, thank God. Now we got Eagles football on a Saturday to get prepared for. Question is, what are the keys to the Eagles winning this game on Saturday? Is there anything that Washington does even remotely well that scares you? To me, this is a game where we might not win this 31-0 against the Raiders last week, where I was even predicting the potential of a shutout. But there's nothing that Washington does that scares me. It's solely up to the Eagles doing what they have to do and executing, staying healthy, getting healthy, and executing their own game plan. The Commanders are not better at any position on the football field than the Eagles, technically speaking. Not better at any aspect of it. I'm glad it's not so cold today. It's going to get cold again later today. There wasn't much more annoying than that Mariota talk 11 or 12 years ago. Yeah, the Anthony Gargano on WWIP. Or no, maybe he was on the fanny pack at that time saying, hashtag do the deal. Oh. Shouting and screaming like he always does. Washington has packed it in, will be a cakewalk. Absolutely agree that Washington's packed it in. No doubt, they should have packed it in sooner. They put Jaden Daniels at risk by not packing it in sooner. But you still got to go out and execute. You still got to go out and win, Mark. They still have to go out and do their part. Because on any given Sunday, these teams that packed it in, the guys that are going to be playing are playing for their future, are playing for future contracts. Mariota's a free agent. He's only 32. Hey, I'd take Mariota back here backing up Jalen Hurts after you get a first for Tanner McKee. These guys are playing for something, a lot of these Washington guys. So, they're dangerous in the sense that the guys that are going to be on the football field have nothing to lose. And that's a big deal. That's always something I keep an eye on. Chip also had Frank Gore here for 30 seconds, but then brought in D'Amico Murray. Chip sucked, period. We know that. I feel the main key is to control the ball and not turn it over. Also, I feel our D can make Washington turn the ball over. Yes. We need to do both these things. Not turn it over. And winning the turnover battle is important every single week. This week, is it more important than normal? Probably not. I don't worry. I think they only forced 7 interceptions. Washington, I don't think they're going to be a team that turns us over a lot. But we can make Marcus Mariota make mistakes. Absolutely, because, yes, he sucks. I predict the final score will be 31-10, and Saquon will have at least one touchdown, so will AJ. This game is the Saquon game, hopefully, Bruce, to me. This is hopefully the Saquon get-right game. This is the game where Saquon Barkley breaks free for 100 yards, maybe 2 rushing touchdowns. This might be the game where he breaks free for 125, 130, has his biggest game of the year. Has he even rushed for 100 yet in a game this year? I don't even know if he has. I know he's on pace for 1,000 yards, actually like 1,100 yards. Looking at Washington's defense, You can run on them. You can pass on them. You can do everything on this Washington defense. But this is the game that I hope Saquon gets right. Landon's a little closer to being healthy. Cam Jurgens is getting healthy. Fred Johnson is finding a little bit of a groove in Lane Johnson's replacement spot. This is the Saquon Barkley break-free game. This is the Saquon Barkley puts up 125, 130, maybe 150 yards. I mean, they've given up Washington 136.3 yards per game on the ground. Remember, Cowboys still have a chance. Yeah, the Cowboys have a chance. Yeah. Good morning, Eagles girl. How you doing? You made a mistake and voted no. The Eagles will win. The Eagles will win. You're the one person. There's 11 votes on our poll question, and normally it's one of the trolls. But no, it's Eagles girl. Click no. I know it was by mistake, but how dare you? It's okay. I'll just pretend that the one no is a troll. Okay, Eagles girl. Would like another McKee second half game due to large lead for us. Yes, I want to see a lot of Tanner McKee over the next 3 weeks because A, we're locked in, and B, because we've got big leads. Absolutely. Let's continue to build that trade value. Guys, we got over 15 people watching. There's only 8 likes on the video. Guys, if you have not yet, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it out, and vote on our poll question. More votes than likes on the video. That means people are hitting some of the buttons, not all the buttons. It's free to do. I also hope that we have more fans at the game than the Commanders. Most likely we will. I'm sure you can buy tickets on the secondary market pretty cheaply if you wanted to go to the game. That would be my guess. Fair warning, Phil, the snacks are coming out for Saturday. Yeah, I think I'm going to cook. I mean, Saturday's game, 5 o'clock, that's like dinner time almost. I got a bunch of things in my freezer. Appetizers and stuff. I might fry up some stuff and have some good snacks on Saturday night. Cowboys are always ass. Well, yes, they are. They are always ass. We know that. That is no doubt it. For sure. We know that to be an accurate statement. Sorry. I'm going to have to give you a hard time for that. Definitely going to have to give you a hard time for that. No doubt it that you're going to get, how dare you not have faith? And you know what? Honestly, I truly don't mind when people don't think the Eagles are going to win a football game because they're never going to go 17-0 every year. But this week in this scenario, there's no way the Eagles lose on Saturday. Eagles Cowboy is even better than the Commanders Cowboy. That's the thing. Like, I was high on the Commanders this year. I thought the Commanders were going to be a good team. I did not see the sophomore slump coming for Jaden Daniels. Now, I don't think they had a sophomore slump. I think it was a poorly built roster that was destined to fail, and the way the organization maintains Jaden Daniels and puts him at risk is what failed them this year. I think the Commanders need to rethink their organizational philosophies before next year. So are you going to broadcast? Absolutely. I go live for all games. Well, I have so far this year. Next week's game against the Bills, we're still up in the air with. But, yes, I will be live on Saturday, 5 p.m., right here on the STT Sports Network. Tell all, the best way to watch an Eagles game is with me. Watch it here. I don't know. I don't have the Cowboys skating fluid much anymore. They're just so piss poor and irrelevant. Dude, if you're not big on social media, Nooms, from what I remember you saying. But God, Cowboys fans still think they got a chance. Still, the Eagles will win on Saturday before the Cowboys play a game, and they will still tell you that they have a chance. All we got to do is win one game, and no matter what the Cowboys do, it's over. They will tell you they have a chance till it'll be the Super Bowl, Eagles versus whoever, the Texans. And the Cowboys will still be saying they've got a chance to win the Super Bowl because they're delusional. Well, you know something, Phil. What do I know? What? How far behind am I? It's only a minute. Cowboys players have punched their playoff tickets on the couch. They've already got their tickets to Cancun booked. They already got their yachts. They've already called them Amalfi Jets. This is Colin speaking. Hey, I need to book a private jet for my family. They've already done all that. Health took down the Mets and the Commanders. Yes. I'm to an extent glad that Jaden Daniels isn't hurt more because I don't want players to get hurt. I don't want players' careers to cut short. I'm almost glad that they've decided to shut him down and not risk him becoming the next RG3, which they are dangerously close to doing. Well, I appreciate that, Bruce. You know where I'll be, right here in my chair. Washington Super Bowl and Game 7, these next two games against the Eagles. Yes, Marshawn. And look, there's no doubt the Eagles are the better team, right? But I always fear teams that got nothing to lose, with players playing for contracts, for their livelihood. There's something to a team with nothing to lose. Will they win? Probably not. But they could put up a fight. It could be closer. You make one too many mistakes, they could squeeze a win out in these next two games. The Eagles still got to go out there and execute this week before the Eagles can take their foot off the pedal. They still got to lock that up. They lose tomorrow, then they lose to Buffalo next week, who's competing for their division title. Then all of a sudden, you're coming into Week 18 in a must-win scenario, unless the Cowboys lose. Don't let the Cowboys win one. Yeah, don't. Cowboys fans are Lloyd Christmas, so you're telling me there's a chance. Yes, so you're telling me there's a chance. UFL getting ready for March kickoff. Yay! Woohoo! Said nobody about the UFL. Nobody in the UFL gets excited for the UFL because it's all football. It's all NFL. It's all about getting to the Super Bowl first. And then maybe we care. I see it. I just don't participate. Okay, gotcha. I used to participate in the Facebook drama all the time. Then I realized it just was such a waste of my time. And there's so much more productivity that I can have with my time than arguing with nitwits on Facebook and on Twitter. Cowboys fans think all Cancun vacations are created equal. If we got knocked out after a deep playoff run, it ain't the same as making the playoffs. Yeah, Cowboys fans will always tell you, yeah, exactly. And I get what you're saying here. And they will do that, okay? Well, you guys are in Cancun before winning the Super Bowl, too. We've got 5 Super Bowl championships to your only 2, right? They'll tell you that all the time, right? Our Super Bowls, we've got more. Even though every person that says we've got 5 Super Bowls to your 2 Super Bowls, every single one of those Cowboys fans that'll say that to you weren't alive even when they last won a Super Bowl. Dak will come out and say the Cowboys are real close to what the Eagles are doing. Of course they will. And Jerry Jones will believe him because Jerry Jones, long live Jerry Jones, 100%. I don't even know who the Cowboys play this week. They play the Chargers in Dallas this week. The Cowboys are the favorite. Somehow the Cowboys at 6-7-1 are favored over the 10-4 Chargers. So that's who they've got. So we've got to beat Washington or they've got to lose to the Chargers, and we're in. Plain and simple. Where's the rep? You know, it's funny you ask that, Nooms. I actually thought that, and this is a shout out in case Stoner or Trev or any of that crew are listening. I know they're still out there. I just sent them a message about a week ago. I haven't heard back from them. I don't know if they're managing the Ref the District account anymore. They stopped podcasting, but before the losing started. It was like 3-4 months ago, the last time they did a show, and they did post a video that life and family happens and that they were stopping the channel. It's still active, the channel, but they haven't used it. I hope Trav Stone and all the guys are doing okay. I think the Commanders still had a winning record when they stopped. So I hope the boys over there are okay. I hope it was nothing serious. You could see the tears in their eyes in their farewell message. So, yeah. Will Eagles win on Saturn's Day? A very confident yes. Cowboys fans will have a team that's in skeleton and their pride is them believing. We're going to win. They're going to have no chance, Jonathan, but they're still going to say they have a chance. It's the Philly. If the Philly Stars came back and actually played in Philadelphia, I'd get on board. Hard as I try to care about the St. Louis Battlehawks, I can't. I've tried, Freddie, because TMC is always commenting on the UFL in the chat. I have tried to watch it, but anytime I've turned on a UFL football game, I've watched the talent on the field and said, damn, that sucks. And that's why I can't. The Eagles championship in 1960 is closer in time to the Cowboys Super Bowl than the Eagles Super Bowl last year for it was. That's bad. That's a bad statement. If a Cowboys fan tells you they have 5 Super Bowls and then look like they saw it on VHS, then it's not worth the argument. Yeah, exactly. VHS was still Blockbuster was still the go-to on a Friday night, right? The last time they won. It's crazy. And whatever. I get it. Before we got 2 Super Bowls, we had to make up narratives to make ourselves believe, Marshawn. We were in the Cowboys' shoes at one point. So, I get it. You got to sell yourself as a fan on anything. You got to sell yourself as a fan on some form of hope. Chargers should be favored and Chargers will beat Dallas 100%. There, I'm giving you one score prediction already. Cowboys will not cover the 1.5 point spread. The Chargers will win that game outright at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Even after we win Saturday, I still want the Cowboys to lose. Exactly. No. I want them to. I want them to win. I want them to lose or hurt their draft status as much as possible. I want them to think that they're one move away. I want them to continue. I want Jerry Jones to continue to be delusional and win 2 of the next 3 games. What's worse, UFL or XFL? Well, they're actually the same thing now, Adam. The UFL and the XFL combined. It was the USFL and the XFL. The USFL and the XFL formed the UFL. I think I got that right. The Eagles do have 5 rings. So if the Cowboys can count their Super Bowls from a long time ago, we can count our NFL championship rings from years ago. Have a show titled The Last Time the Cowboys Won a Super Bowl. For this show, you could read them off Letterman style. Gotcha. Top 10 things. I had to write that down. We're going to do a top 10 things that were relevant the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. Let's see if I can put that video together. What happened to Party on Broad? Dives got a promotion at his job and is taking a hiatus from podcasting right now. I actually just texted him not even 48 hours ago. When did I text him? I texted him actually a few days ago. I texted him on Monday. So he got a promotion at his job, had to take a step back. So, yeah. Dallas has 5 rings. So there you go. That's always the thing I say. Long live Jerry Jones. Yes, absolutely. Beverly Hills 90210 was relevant. Oh, sorry, kicking off the party too early. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. He didn't go into details. He just said he got a promotion with more responsibility, and it takes more time. So he really just doesn't have the time to commit to it right now. Says he misses it, even though it's only been a few months and not doing it. So you might see him back eventually. He does all that draft prep for basketball and football. Maybe he comes back during draft time for a few shows. But yeah, I don't know much more other than that. Saved by the Bell wasn't in the college years yet. The last time the Cowboys were relevant, Saved by the Bell hadn't gotten to college yet. I like that. Was Doogie Howser still on TV? I don't know. I never actually watched Doogie Howser much. I know what it is. I've probably seen it in syndication and in reruns here and there occasionally. But that wasn't a show I watched regularly when I was a kid. I didn't. I don't know why. I was a TGIF guy. I watched when I was a young kid, early 90s, it was Perfect Strangers. It was Family Matters. It was Step by Step. All those shows. I wanted to live in a van in a driveway. So bad. Perfect Strangers was a big one for me. The Wonder Years was definitely still on TV. The Wonder Years is arguably one of the great sitcoms of the 80s. Arguably one of the most underrated TV shows. It had comedy. It had family drama. It had real-life stories. I don't know how it would translate today in the sense of would it be relevant or not, like some of the stories, but I have a feeling it would be. That's right. Like, subscribe, share. The only way we can grow this channel is with those free clicks. A free click on the like button, a subscribe, a share. It goes a long way, and it's free. What else are you going to do on Friday that's free other than hit buttons on this screen, right? Shout out Urkel. I was at the bar the other night having dinner, and this dude's like, oh, not to me, to another. It's like, you look like Urkel, to this other guy at the bar. Like, that dude don't look anything like Urkel at all. And he's like, what? We were still asking who shot JR. Were we? I don't know. Time frame wise, I'm trying to figure that one out. Did he turn out to be alive after all? Spoiler alert. Anyway, guys, we're talking Eagles here. Will they win? What are the keys to the Eagles' victory? I know there's not been much shown, but for some reason, I do feel that Jalen Hurts and the offense get going, but Saquon Barkley will have a big game on Saturday. I really, truly do. I do feel that this is the week. We saw the offense get moving last week, but this week we see just the run offense get their groove back. Stella, the last time the Cowboys were relevant, Stella hadn't gotten her groove back, but the Eagles are getting their groove back this week. Good morning, Eagles fan. For some reason, your comment's not showing up on my screen, but it's on the side screen, so good morning to you, Eagles fan. The Goldbergs tried to recapture that wonderful year's spirit and actually made a pretty fun show. It also helps Goldbergs reform. Yeah, I never really got into the Goldbergs, but I've heard a lot of good things about the Goldbergs. Eagles top 10 in sacks. Crazy how this team couldn't get a sack for weeks. Literally, since the bye week, a.k.a. since Jalen Phillips came to Philadelphia, I went over the numbers. I'll go over them again. They're on this page here. Since the bye week, okay, there's 50 pass rushers with, there's 91 edge rushers with 50 pass rushing snaps. 3 of the top 10 in pressure rate are on the Eagles in Smith, Hunt, and Phillips, okay? Where's my stats here on the pass rush? There's my stats on the pass rush. Since the bye week, a.k.a. Jalen Phillips getting here, they are 5th in pressure rate, 5th in sack rate, 4th in total sacks, 1st in points per game, 6th in takeaway, 2nd in quarterback rating allowed. The Eagles' defense, even though they're 3-3 in their last 6 games, the Eagles' defense in the last 6 weeks has been crazy, scary elite. They've only been giving up 14.3 points per game over the last 6 weeks. Good morning, Rick. Sorry, I passed out last night. I did not catch your show. The Goldbergs was a fun show. Yeah, maybe I'll get into it someday. When Phil mentioned Perfect Strangers earlier, I was cracking up because I watched the Perfect Strangers episode of the Goldbergs last night. Oh, yeah, see, I didn't even know they did that. Didn't Cowboys own the Steelers in a 94-95 Super Bowl before Brett Favre and John Elway did their thing? What? I don't know. I'm not worried about what the Cowboys did 30 years ago. It was good, but got repetitive. I could see that. The knee complications for Landon appear to have completely subsided, which should open up the opportunity for the Eagles' running game to get better, right? For the Eagles' running game to start being more effective. That's what we hope for, right? That's what we need. So our defensive pass rush is catching its groove. And our offensive line is getting healthy, minus Landon Dickerson. Or minus Lane Johnson. Two recipes for massive success. Jalen Phillips has 1 sack as an Eagle, but his gravity helps a lot along the line. He might only have 1 sack, but the batted balls, the pressure he's getting, the double teams he's facing, Jalen Phillips' impact can be felt on so many different levels of this defense. His energy level, his passion out there. Jalen Phillips is playing like a Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis, where they're not popping on the stat sheet. But if you watch with your eyes, you can see what Jalen Phillips is doing, and other people are benefiting from Jalen Phillips' actions on defense. No, Lane Johnson and Jalen Carter have both been officially ruled out as of yesterday afternoon for tomorrow's game. I would expect him to come back maybe next week for half the game. We win this week. The division's locked up. The 3 seed is locked up. You let Lane Johnson come back, play a half of football just to knock the rust off, and then you sit him till January. Hell, maybe you don't play him at all till January when we lock the division up this week. You want these guys to be healthy. You want Jalen Carter to be healthy. As long as they go out and win, which they should win. Poll question. We're only up to 17 votes on the poll question, but 82% of you have voted no. One of you accidentally voted no. One of you voted yes, but it'll be close. One of you voted no, the Eagles suck and are done on today's poll. But yes, they win, which they will, then you can get this team fully healthy for January. And I stand by it. If the Eagles get healthy, if Jalen Carter comes back healthy, if Lane Johnson gets healthy, if all these things happen, there is not one team in the NFL that is going to want to play the Eagles in January. Everybody will be scared of a healthy, confident Eagles team. Success rate running inside still sucks, though, with Saquon, but with Tank it is not. Hitting that hole quickly matters more this year, at least up to now. And there was one run late in that Raiders game, late in the third quarter, that Saquon Barkley took the ball and hit the middle. It was only for like a 4-yard gain, but he hit the hole so fast and so hard. I was like, oh, shit, that looked like 2024 Saquon. So maybe we're starting to get close to that with Saquon. And Saquon talked a lot about getting those 2-yard runs into 4-yard runs, to getting those minus 2-yard runs into 2-yard runs. Saquon spent a lot of time in the past week talking about what needs to happen for him to start getting right. Getting Landon Dickerson healthy is a huge part of that. Scatterboo and Nakua, after everyone took their cut, earned about $200K. I don't feel bad for athletes. I don't. Stop trying to make me feel bad. Probably was pump voted they suck. Probably. He is a hater. But he's a hater that supports the channel. The only guy I want completely out until the playoffs is Drew Makuba. Yeah, I mean, it didn't sound good that Drew Makuba even is coming back this year at all. When Vic Fangio spoke on, I believe it was Wednesday, he was asked, he is eligible to come off of IR next week. And Vic Fangio said, yeah, he's eligible, but he won't be coming back. So that almost leads me to believe he likes what he has seen in somebody like Marcus Epps filling in, and he feels more comfortable with Marcus Epps over Andrew Makuba, even come playoff time potentially. So maybe there's something to that. I want Lane Johnson, Jalen Carter to get a half of football in somewhere. Yeah, in theory, I would like to get them a half of football as well. All right? 95% healthy with a half of football or 100% healthy with no football? What would you prefer? I don't know. Guys, real quick, just so you know, just seeing the lights in the background flicker a couple times. I know it's raining and really windy out. If the stream cuts off, I apologize. I just have this weird feeling that the light's flickering a couple times. We might be in for a power outage or an internet outage at some point here this morning. So just throw that out there. If something happens, it's windy out there and rainy out there. Jonathan's predicting Saquon Barkley with 22 carries, 105 yards. And I have to add that watching Seattle Rams, it cringes me that how he passed on Eman Wari. Guess Eagles thought Makuba better fit. Q DeJean and Eman, maybe. Wasn't even thinking about that until you brought that up. Look, we have safety issues. Safety's always going to be an issue. How he changed his tune on linebackers, now it's time for him to change his tune on safeties, I guess, right? It's time for him to add some high-end safeties to this team. He's passed on Kyle Hamilton, Brian Branch. He's passed on safeties multiple times. Are Nikki Bella and Cooper DeJean dating? Why do I hate this so much? Why do I hate that my man Coop is out there potentially doing the Ramba with Nikki Bella? I don't know why I'm annoyed by this. It's not jealousy, that's for sure. I don't want no distraction for my Eagles. I don't want Cooper DeJean falling in that rabbit hole. But good for him. 22 years old, hooking up with a 42-year-old Nikki Bella. That's something right there. When did Nikki Bella become an Eagles fan? Like, it's all over the place that she's an Eagles fan now. I feel like TMZ, breaking news, Cooper DeJean was spotted with Nikki Bella. I don't care. But for some reason, I hate it at the same time. Nikki Bella will be in the crosshairs if Coop falters. Absolutely. She'll be the reason. She's trying to be the next Taylor Swift and seen on camera every game. She's a bad wrestler. Yeah, I just think there's too much bad that can happen there. I hope not. All we need is Coop getting Ricky Vaughn, Major League 2 syndrome. We already tried to compare the Eagles to Major League 2 earlier this week, did we not? And now we got to worry that Cooper DeJean is getting Ricky Vaughn, Major League 2 syndrome. I hate it. I hate it so much. I want nothing to do with that. Really? Oh, my God, I had no idea. Good for him. I'm happy for the dude. I just see it as her being a distraction that we do not need. Are the Bellas from Philly? I did not know that. They've always been Birds fans, while Bree was. Now that she lives with hippie Daniel Bryan Seattle, she's a Seahawks fan. Gotcha. No, that means she's a traitor, if that's the case. If they're from Philly, are they from Philly their whole life? I had no idea. No clue about that. Anyway, let's get off. Thanks, Adam, for putting us on a Nikki Bella rabbit hole conversation. I don't even want to know what that rabbit hole is. Marcus Epps played well, way better than I ever expected. Considering he barely played this year, considering he spent most of this year with the Eagles on IR, considering he was a cast-off the last 2 years in the NFL, Marcus Epps has played very well. And with Andrew Makuba struggling at times his rookie year, now that you've got a viable option back there at safety to play next to Reed Blankenship, Vic Fangio's always going to go with the vet over the rookie in this situation. Also, Marcus Epps playing better has kind of improved Reed Blankenship's play as well. You notice when Reed Blankenship had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, a vet next to him, he played well. When he had a rookie or an unknown problem, he didn't. Now he's got Epps playing, and he's playing better. So Marcus Epps has helped this Eagles defense in multiple levels the last couple of weeks as getting back on the field, as playing for this defense. So it has helped massively. It has, and I hope it continues. I hope it continues to go in the right direction for the Eagles with the defense. This is another get-right week for the Eagles defense for sure. Another week where they can continue to build momentum towards being an elite defense. I said this Eagles defense would finish in the top 5 by the end of the season. They are ranked 6th overall in what I think is the most important stat, points given up per game. They are now at 19.6 per game, which I know the shutout obviously helped them jump from 9th to 20.8 to 19.6. That shutout dropped 1.2 points off. And they'll drop even more after we hold the Commanders to under 14 points this week, which is my prediction. Where is my prediction sheet? Oh, there it is. I do have my prediction locked in for this Eagles game. We'll save it for later on in the episode. But I do have my prediction ready to rock and roll for this game. This is the get-right game for Saquon Barkley. But is this also the game, the FU moment of the game for Quinion Mitchell? Now, they haven't released the fan voting yet for the Pro Bowl, but we've talked about it. That coming into yesterday, that Quinion Mitchell wasn't even a top 10 voted cornerback. Why? Because fans don't care about, coverage rates. They don't care about, tight window rates. They care about interceptions. He does not give up he does not get interceptions. He doesn't give up touchdowns, but he doesn't give up interceptions. This is the game where Quinion Mitchell goes to the league and the fan base across the NFL and be like, yo, what about me? Do you forget who I am? The best damn cover corner in the entire of the NFL right now? 1, 2, or 3 in every statistical stat outside of interceptions? Hey, what about me? For who, for what? Yeah, you can move to a new city. You can marry a fan from another fan base, and you can support their team. You can support your new hometown. But deep down inside, you better never lose who your number one fan is. Where you're born and raised, that will always be your top team. If I moved to Clearwater, yeah, I'd support Tampa. Not over the Eagles, though. Complete traitor. Complete and total traitor. No doubt it. Guys, we're back to almost 20 people watching. We only got 14 likes. There's 17 votes. Like, subscribe, share, vote on the poll question of the day. What's up, BC? I'm tired of these A.J. Brown trade rumors, ESPN rumors, anonymous execs. Look, there is a real possibility that A.J. Brown gets traded in the offseason. More financially speaking than drama speaking. But I will stand here and say, no, I do not want A.J. Brown traded. A.J. Brown we are better with than without. The Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson conversation, from Monday Night Football a couple of weeks ago. It's okay that teammates don't get along every week. No, there isn't. It isn't. Would be stupid. Look, it would be stupid to trade away arguably one of the best wide receivers in football. It would be tough to figure out the cap hit. But if you trade him post-June 1st, which means he won't help you this offseason, you do free up some cap space this year. Now, I would prefer, and I expect Howie Roseman to renegotiate A.J. Brown's contract, renegotiate Jordan Mailata's contract, renegotiate Saquon or Devontae's contract, freeing up money to get the deals done. But we are very top-heavy on offense, and a lot of guys on defense do need to get paid. Any city I move to, I'd support that team unless it was Dallas. I'd never support them. But that team would always be second. That's all. That's what I'm saying, Freddie. There's 2 trades that I'm curious about. There's rumors that Matt Strahm is on the trade block. And I think that's insane, Rick, that he'd be on the trade block. But he would instantly become the best lefty available in free agency or the trade block. So maybe there's some big value there. I know they brought in Keller, but he's a righty. You've got Alvarado. You've got 2 other lefties in your bullpen. Is Matt Strahm's trade value really worth putting him on the trade block? I don't know. I think it's crazy, right? There are also a lot of rumors about trading Jared McCain and him being on the trade block. And quite frankly, where I'm not sure why I would trade Matt Strahm, Everybody's against trading Jared McCain. I would absolutely put Jared McCain on the trade block in the right deal, not just for anything. There's no such thing as, even Matt Strahm to an extent falls into this classification. There's nobody that's untradeable for the right deal. So if you're going to trade Strahm, you better get something of value and have a plan. We did start the day at 930. Right before I went to sleep, I checked last night. And we were at 931. So there we go. Moving on up. ESPN rumors have all the earmarks of strategic plans by other teams. Absolutely. AJ would restructure his contract 100%. He will take that. Look, exactly. Howie Roseman, because of the amount of defensive contracts he's got to extend this year, Howie Roseman is going to have a very busy offseason in the restructuring of contracts departments, EC. Who takes them, who doesn't, how they figure it out, I don't know. I am not a contract genius. I don't even pretend to know a tenth of how that stuff works. But I do know how he restructures deals a lot, gives some upfront bonuses to save on salary cap. They're going to have to do that. Can never have enough pitching. This move seems very exactly. And I don't know where the Matt Strahm rumors come from, right? Like, why would you want to trade? You just add it to your bullpen to make it deeper, and you want to get rid of one of your best pitchers in the bullpen? Say what you will about him. He's not a closer like he gets used sometimes, but the dude is a very reliable. Maybe they're thinking, let's get ahead of the curve. He's pitched a lot of innings in the last 2 years for the Phillies. Maybe let's get rid of him before he burns out. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know. I think it's crazy. AJ going to restructure his contract. Watch, so Will Smith book it. And so will Jalen Hurts. Absolutely. Preview for the Philly Sports Year in Review. AJ reads books. Lady and Dilko takes a dump. Karen's want to take your baseball. Kelsey throws cell phone. I think some of that was last year. Speaking of Philly, so very happy. No more Jordan Romano. Yes, he's gone. And the pitcher they got, Brad Keller from the Cubs, he's good. But there's a risk that he's a one-hit wonder that you just gave a 2-year contract to. Because look at his numbers. He wasn't great outside of last year. Barkley just got, is he allowed to? Because he just signed his extension this last, I think there's rules on when you can restructure. I don't know. Maybe you can't restructure him yet. I don't know. AJ, read the book last year, not this year. So he should be reading some fucking books on the sideline, pardon my language. Right? Would you sign Dotson? I would absolutely sign him. Jahan Dotson's not going to want to sign here and stay in Philly. And this is not on Dotson. This is not a knock on him. But Dotson was a starting, he was a 1-2 in Washington. He put up numbers in Washington. He's going to want to go somewhere to get paid. He's coming off his rookie deal. This is why I always said the Eagles should have explored trading Jahan Dotson. Because you are going to lose him. You might get a comp pick. Now, you see Jacob Myers just signed a 3-year, $60 million extension with the Jags. There's going to be a team that sees what Dotson did a couple years ago in Washington and be like, I'm going to make him my number 2 guy, and I'm going to pay him big money. And I think Dotson has that right to expect that kind of a payday and the opportunity to perform in an offense and not be the backup to AJ and Devontae. If McCain is available for trade, so is Edgecombe available too. Exactly. So, Adam, this talk that Jared McCain is available in a trade, these rumors, right, that you could get him, right? Everyone's like, how could you trade him? We have 4 young guards, and Tyrese Maxey, Quentin Grimes, VJ Edgecombe, and Jared McCain. You could make an argument to trade any of them in the right deal. You do not need 4 guards, 25 years of age or younger, that all can start in the NBA. You can absolutely move on. The question shouldn't be, are these young guys available? The question should be, do you trust Daryl Morey in making that trade? We trust Daryl Morey now in his draft. We trust Daryl Morey on getting fringe players like a Barlow. But do we trust him in trading? Because his eyes get big when he sees certain people available that he just can't help himself. I don't even remember. Dotson sucks. That's why he washed out. He had 55 catches the year before we trade, or his last year in Washington. He had like 90 catches in 2 years in Washington. I want to say. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe his rookie year he had 55 catches. Dotson's nothing to write home about, but Dotson's a former first-round pick. He's a guy that has had success in the NFL, and he's a young guy that wants a chance to show what he's capable of. He's not going to stay in Philly as our third wide receiver on a 2-year, $6 million contract. Just making up numbers here. He's not going to do that, okay? Which is what you're looking at Darius Cooper types and Johnny Wilson types as your third and fourth wide receiver going forward. If you keep AJ and Devontae. Guys on rookie contracts. Goddard can't get traded because he's a free agent after the year. We only signed him to a 1-year deal. And that's a very tough conversation that how he's got to have. Do we move on from him or not? Why are we so focused on Dotson and Goddard and restructuring? We're focused on getting back to the playoffs, which happens tomorrow, and then getting back to the Super Bowl, which begins on Sunday. Because you got to be in the dance to get to the dance, right? I'm not worried about these offseason decisions. Not till this season's over. Nobody wants Dotson to weak ass. I disagree. McCain is not washed. It takes time for full. No one said he's washed. Did I say? Maybe I'm getting my Dotson and McCain and so. Nobody's saying he's washed. McCain is a luxury. So, one of your guards is a luxury. One of them can get traded. And I have no problem trading any of them. Okay? In the right deal. If you can get something good for McCain and maybe unload Paul George in the process, go for it. Somebody wants Joel Embiid and you got to unload McCain with it? Sure. He was a former first-round pick, was he not? Am I wrong on who Jahan Dotson was? Got to find a way to re-sign Goddard at the end of the year. So here's the thing, though, Rick. You saw a massive contract go Mark Andrews' way, and Mark Andrews is having a down year. Mark Andrews is older. What's Goddard's value like? Are you going to give Goddard 3 years, $45 million? Or whatever it was Mark Andrews got? You told him to go test free agency last year. He did, and he got bounced back. Do the Eagles go that route? Hey, go test free agency again and come back to us when you don't get what you want? I don't know. I want Dallas Goedert to be back. We're better with than without Dallas Goedert. There's no doubt about that, right? The question becomes, how much do you commit to Dallas Goedert when you've got you've got to do all these contract restructuring this offseason so you can afford to keep your defense intact? That's even more work to do to keep Dallas Goedert around. We love our backups, absolutely. Dotson is terrible. He just has nothing really mastered. We don't even know because he doesn't play. Goddard deserves to get paid. Should have gotten the 3-year deal done last offseason. Now that 3-year deal got more expensive, right? Being a former first rounder is a bad reason to keep a guy who I'm not saying to keep him. I'm saying we're not going to keep him because he is going to think, okay, that he can do more. He's going to want to prove he can. Jahan Dotson would probably rather take a 1-year cheap prove-it deal elsewhere to have a chance to show what he's capable of than stay here and just be a backup. That's what I'm getting at. Is he still the league leader? I believe he is with the 9 touchdowns. The NFC East plays against the AFC South in interconference games and NFC West in interconference games in 2026. That determines how Howie re-signs. I think that's an interesting comment. How much does Howie Roseman base it off that? The AFC South and the NFC West next year? Got it. Guys, we've only got 15 likes, but we've been over 20 for a good portion of the show. Hit the like button, the subscribe button if you guys haven't. Does Howie look at that? Does Howie look at how I could put the best players on the field? Or does Howie look at, well, we're going to face these teams, and I got to beat these teams? I don't know if Howie goes that route. I know teams do that. Well, I got torched by CeeDee Lamb, so I got to draft a a cornerback first round. If you draft or sign players solely based off of one or two matchups, I don't know if that's the right way to build a roster. But, guys, it is the top of the hour. It is 9 a.m. You are watching Trending in the AM on the STT Sports Network, guys. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, you tune in. I will be live tomorrow about 4:45 p.m. for the entirety of the Eagles game. Do not miss it. Live watch parties are a blast. A lot of drinking, a lot of cussing, and a lot of overreacting. Eagles will win by double digits tomorrow. I agree with you. I've got my score locked in, ready to go. Now, the game opened as a 5.5-point Eagles line on the road. It is up to 7 points Eagles favored. The over-under has come down from 45.5 to 44.5. Let's just say I got the Eagles covering, but I got the under as well. Everybody playing tomorrow? Cool. 1 o'clock games are tough to get drunk for. They really are. I feel like I shouldn't be starting that early. Yes, I'm old, okay? I will say this. I haven't seen Dotson drop anything in a long time. I mean, does he even have the ball thrown his way? Let's look up Jahan Dotson's let's look up his stat sheet, his pro reference football sheet here. Let's take a look at Jahan Dotson. He's 25. He will be 26 in the offseason. All right. He caught 35 passes his rookie year for 523 and 7 touchdowns. His second year in Washington, he caught 49 passes with 4 touchdowns. He's got 12 catches this year. He had 19 last year. All right, so yes, obviously his yards per catch this year is over 17, highest of his career. So you got that going for you. So there was a point in time where Dotson was a viable option. That Flyers game really pissed me off last night for some odd reasons. We were watching Holiday next level baking competition. I don't know, 2 hours of baking a 3-tier cake competition is what we watched last night. Yeah. I'm a Tilly, what? Dotson deep dive. Well, what do you want me to deep dive on, K1? I can never make you happy. Unless I'm doing a deep dive on Kenny Gainwell or Tank Bigsby, you just don't care. I'm not really. I'm a slacker. I'm too old. I don't even want to deal with hangovers anymore. Punt returns, passes, etc. Yes. I mean, Dotson was doing punt returns as well. Hopefully Phillies signed JT. I keep waiting for that shoe to drop. I keep waiting to say, yay, the Phillies got him. They did something right. But unfortunately, it hasn't happened yet, and I don't know why. I need it happening. PFR doesn't show wide receivers blocking efforts. Dotson still sucks at it. Okay? And that was Johnny Wilson's role before he got hurt. I get that, okay? I'm just saying he's gone. What? I mean, some of the conversations and some of the rabbit holes we have gone down today, and we're only an hour and 3. Good morning, Mitchie Poo. You're here. You're here. Some of the rabbit holes we've had to go down today, talking Nikki Bella and Cooper DeJean's dating life and Jahan Dotson's stay or go status. Like, it's crazy. The South of AFC, Jags, Texans, Colts, Titans. Cakewalk. Well, the Jags are getting better this year, and the Texans' defense is elite. The Colts, I don't know what the Colts will be next year. The Titans, I read a report the Titans are already thinking about drafting another quarterback in the first round this year. First, they gave up on, what's his name, Will Levis really quickly, and rightfully so. Now they're giving up on Cam Ward quickly, and probably rightfully so. I told everybody at the draft he was not going to be worth the number 1 overall pick. If he makes those Super Bowl catches again, I don't get. Yeah, true. That's true. That is true. At least we aren't talking about soprano saxophone. That is true. I guess today's conversation is better than talking about Kenny G's sax play. Look, I thought it was as obvious as could be that Cam Ward shouldn't have been the number 1 overall pick. And I said it. This is what's wrong with the NFL. Cam Ward They should have signed a Marcus Mariota type to start all year for them. Let Cam Ward hold a clipboard for a year and learn. But instead, you fired your coach halfway through the season. You forced Cam Ward out there to suck with no talent anywhere on that roster. And here you are. The end of the season's coming, and you're thinking, do we have to draft another quarterback? Because a new head coach is going to want their guy. It's a shame. And I think Cam Ward was done a disservice by A, getting drafted by the Titans, but B, getting drafted number 1 overall by the Titans. There was not one quarterback in last year's draft, in my opinion, that deserved to get drafted in the first round. Not Jackson Dart, not, what was the other guy that was drafted in the first round? I forget. I had it, then I lost it. Anyway, with that being said, the Eagles will win on Saturday. Let's go through it. There's 2 Saturday games. Obviously, we're the 5 o'clock game. Obviously, the Seahawks won 38-37, taking over first place in the NFC West and in the conference. We play the Commanders at 5. There's an 8:20 game on Fox. Packers at Bears, probably one of the games of the week. The Bears are 1.5-point favorites. And I want the Bears to win. A, for Dakota, who watches every watch party. And B, because I just hate the Packers hype. The unnecessary hype of the Packers. So I'm rooting for the Bears. Even though that hurts our chances at getting the 2 seed, I got Bears winning that game and covering the 1.5-point spread. We are going to get into the Sunday games here in a second. Seattle going to Super Bowl. Seattle, I tried to hype up Seattle like 3 weeks ago, and everyone's like, oh, but Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold went and won 14 games last year and got ditched, and he's come back and won 12 already this year. I want to play Goff in the playoffs so Jalen Carter can turn his underwear a shade of St. Brown. Tyler Shuck will end up going to the Hall of Fame. I saw somebody talking about Tyler and how he's a perfect fit for Kellen Moore, basically squashing Tanner McKee to Saints rumors. Are you totally wrong? We need Green Bay to win that. We do need Green Bay to win that game. I just don't like Green Bay. And I think that Jordan Love is overrated. So while we need I said that. We need Green Bay to win. But I don't think they do. And I'll be happy with that. Kyle Pitts needs a new home if we move off of Goddard. Yes. Yes, we do. Seattle Super Bowl was yesterday. They ain't winning shit in the playoffs. Yeah. I lean more towards that. But Seattle's a well-coached team, well-disciplined team, and they got a good quarterback that's playing well. All right, Sunday's games. Bills at Browns. Bills are 10.5-point favorites. Bills win that game. Cover the 10.5-point spread. Chargers at Cowboys. Cowboys are 1.5-point favorites. Chargers win that on the road outright. Chiefs at Titans. Gardner Minshew versus Cam Ward. Yeah, that's a hell of a football game. Chiefs are 3-point favorites. I think the Chiefs win because the Titans are trying to lose and get that number 1 overall pick. Bengals at Dolphins. Dolphins turning the keys over to Quinn Ewers. Tua's done. Bengals are 4.5-point favorites in that game. I'm going to take the Bengals to win that game outright. Jets at Saints. Saints are 6.5-point favorites. Saints win another game and cover and win by 7. Saints ruining their draft positioning. Houston going to be scariest team come playoffs. Glad we ain't in the AFC. Look, what do they always say, Rick? Defense wins championships. The Texans have the best defense in football. So, yeah, I agree with you. Vikings at Giants. Vikings, 2.5-point favorites. Do the Vikings have a chance in the playoffs? I don't think they do. At 6-8. Vikings win that game, though, outright and cover the 2.5-point spread. Giants and Titans are fighting for that last spot. Buccaneers, Panthers in Carolina. Probably the game of the week. Who wins that gets the driver's seat for the playoffs and that division. Panthers win that game. Sorry, Bucs fan. Panthers win that game outright. Yes, that's true. He wins, though. That's already 26 wins in the last 2 years for that guy. I don't even know what the meme is, and I don't want to know what it is. Okay, no Vikings are officially out. There's some teams that could get in at 9-8. I thought maybe that's just division, but okay, gotcha. Officially, yes, outright is back. Outright. Jags at Broncos. Broncos are only 3-point favorites in that game. Jags are trying to win their division. Broncos win that game and cover the 3-point spread. Falcons, Cardinals in Arizona. Falcons are 3-point favorites. Technically, still got a chance in their division. Falcons win that game, cover the 3-point spread. Steelers at Lions. Both need to win. Lions are 7-point favorites. Wow. That's a huge Lions line right there. You know what? I'm going to take Detroit Lions to cover the 7-point spread and beat Aaron Rodgers to a pulp. We get VCP appearances sporadically every day. Phil, watch the Philly rap song for 6. No, I'm not. I care less about this 6'7" bullcrap. T-Mac will be a top wide receiver soon. Who? The dude from Carolina you're talking about. Final 4 o'clock game on Sunday. Raiders at Texans. The Texans are 14.5-point favorites in that game. God, I've never bet a 14.5-point favorite to win a football game, but I would bet the Texans to cover 14.5. They will dominate the Raiders. That'll be another 30-0, 40-10 type game. And then the Sunday night game, Patriots at Ravens. Not as good of a game as people think. Baltimore's 3.5 favorites. I'm taking Baltimore to cover and win that game outright and end the Ravens' run. Right there. That is my rapid fire Saturday and Sunday prediction of every game. I haven't tracked any of these all year. Maybe next year I should get back to tracking these predictions. Maybe not. Who knows what I'll be doing next year. By this time next year, will I finally be at 1,000? God. Anyway, we haven't given my final Eagles prediction yet. I did say they are winning by double digits. I did say that. But before we get to that, guys, if you haven't liked, subscribe, share, vote on the poll. Yes is dominating the poll. Yes, the Eagles will win Saturday afternoon over the Commanders. Yes is beating out yes, but it'll be close. It's beating out no, and it's beating out no, the Eagles suck and are done. Only one Cowboys fan voted. No, the Eagles suck and are done. The same delusional Cowboys fan that thinks they're still going to make the playoffs magically somehow. Magically, probably the same people that think that the Eagles are going, or the Cowboys. Yeah, anyway, we're off of that. So, predictions for this Eagles game. Predictions for the Sixers. I might go live tonight at some point during the Sixers game. Actually, no. Tonight's game's on Prime, and I don't have Prime down here. So, unless the Sixers game is on PSN, I won't. What's the Cowboys' record? The Cowboys' record is 6-7-1. They technically got a chance, right? I have Prime on my upstairs TV. It's a shared password. I don't want to ask for it again and put it down here. End of the day, Emmanuel Forbes blew the coverage on the 2-point conversion last night, but give Darnold credit, he didn't read 3 or 4 on the play. What balls by the coaching staff? Yeah, look. I got mad respect for Sam Darnold. I really do. To be a cast-off like he was after a 14-win season and come out and have another team in a spot to win a division, it's going to suck if he doesn't and he finishes second in a division with all these wins again, just like he did with the Vikings last year. It really sucked for him. But it's not because of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's doing what's asked of him. Sam Darnold, you could do much worse at quarterback than him in the NFL. My final prediction, and I never thought I'd say that about Sam Darnold. My final prediction from Adam is 35 Eagles, Commanders 10. That's a big blowout. That's a massive blowout. And that's a half a point over on the over-under, which is it's at 44.5 right now. Chat in the chat, what is up, my good man? What's Chet in the chat's prediction for the game? What's Chet in the chat think will happen on Saturday? Do I call Saturday's game Saturday afternoon game or Saturday evening? 5 p.m. to me is still afternoon. 6 o'clock is when I start saying evening. That's cruise ship training in my brain right there. 27-13. Oh, I did not predict that. That's close to my prediction. I actually thought that's what I wrote down. I was like, shit, no. I don't think there's a doubt that the Eagles win. And I don't even think there's a doubt that the Eagles cover. The Eagles get right even more. And the Eagles get the opportunity to rest and maintenance their players the next 2 weeks based off of how Saturday afternoon, evening goes. I really believe that. I truly do. We'll see. We'll see what happens. My final score prediction for the game is actually the under, but they do cover. I wrote down 27-17 Eagles win. That's not what I'm going with. I did write down 31-13, not what I'm going with. I'm going Eagles win 24-13. Saquon Barkley will have over 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. I wonder what that parlay plays. I'm going to write that down. I'm curious. Barkley, 125 plus, 2 plus TDs, and cover. I wonder what that pays. I'm going to put that together after the show. Just to back my prediction up. I'm going to do the over, or I'm going to do the Eagles under, Eagles cover, Saquon's 125 and 2 touchdowns. We'll see if I'm right. Normally my concern would be Commanders playing hard. They're Super Bowl and all that, but they're a beat-down team. I'm not concerned about them playing hard because it's their Super Bowl. I'm concerned about guys like Marcus Mariota that are looking to get paid next year, right? I'm looking at the practice squad guys that get elevated, that are trying to make a name for themselves. I'm worried about guys like a Frankie Louvu. How's Frankie Louvu's season going? Because he hates the Eagles. I'm worried about what is it Frankie Louvu or whatever his name is? The dude that always likes to take cheap shots. Frankie Louvu, yeah. He's got 3 sacks on the year. 2 forced fumbles. I'm worried about a Frankie Louvu having nothing to lose and taking a cheap shot at Jalen Hurts on a tush push. They're the kind of things that I'm worried about, but that's it. It's usually a lot of injuries in Birds fans. Yeah, I mean, the body bag game, right? I mean, don't have to look any further than the body bag game for that statement, right? But I worry about guys that got nothing to lose playing for their future, but also playing for vendettas. Thoughts on Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight tonight? My thought is I will not be watching it. My thought is that mad props to Jake Paul for finding a way to get boxers to box unseriously. My thoughts are that it's not rigged, but it's rigged at the same sense. My thoughts that if Anthony Joshua went 100%, Jake Paul would be eating out of a straw for the rest of his life. Yes, Frankie Doo-Doo. Like, I mean, I think because it's been so long since we played the Commanders last year in the playoffs, we forget how much Frankie Louvu was a D-bag. Right, try to time the tush push. Here's the question. How does Darnold fare when Q-Bay shadows JSN? Not very good. He's going to have to look elsewhere. I don't even know how the rest of their wide receiver core is doing this year or who their other weapons are even. I know they got the 2-headed running back monster. And JSN has had a phenomenal season. But he's going to get put into Guantanamo Bay. Plain and simple, right? So I don't know. I worry about guys like Louvu taking cheap shots. I worry about the practice squad guys. I'm looking here. Lattimore's out for the year, so it won't be him. I'm just looking at their roster. Someone like Bobby Wagner. He doesn't have a reputation of doing it, but maybe. Yeah, look, I mean, boxing was ruined for me before that. But yeah, I think the funnier story is the dude the champ that refused to pay his commission fees and just retired as champ instead of paying it, saved himself like $300,000. He's going to retire anyway. I think that's a bigger boxing story than anything else. Sign me up for Vic Fangio versus Sam Darnold in a playoff game. Yeah. In Philly, yeah, no problem. In Seattle, it'd be a tough one. I think if we have to go to Seattle, if Seattle wins that division, that'll be a tough game. Yeah, I don't know. Sam Darnold, we don't have faith in him, but he's gaining faith around the league. People's heads are turning on Sam Darnold. He's never going to be a 5,000-yard passer and 40 touchdowns kind of guy. But he manages his team well. He plays within himself. I don't want to disrespect him and then have that come back to bite me in the ass, Anthony. I don't. If I badmouth him too much, then you guys will all pull those receipts out when he beats us. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not. I'm going to keep it level. I'm going to keep it even keel. I'm going to be politically correct. That's what I'm going to do in the Sam Darnold conversation. Look, I would fear so we're going to either face the Rams, Seattle, and the 49ers. They're likely two of our three opponents on the way to the Super Bowl will be from the NFC West in San Fran, Seattle, and the Rams. If you had to power rank those teams, least likely to or least want to face versus you most want to face, I don't even know how I would rank them. Most or least want to face versus most want to face. Yes, I mean you can't write off Kenneth Walker either. He actually is probably the better running back, to be honest with you. Don't need to sell me on AJ Barner. Why did you want him in the draft or something like that at some point? I don't know. Anyway, we're coming to the final 5-10 minutes of the show today. Final thoughts. Sixers back at it tonight against the Knicks. The Knicks raising their NBA Cup banner. Actually, they said they're not going to put up a banner. Is there an NBA Cup banner hangover? God. NBA Cup's over. Thank God. The Sixers break is over. Looks like everybody will be available tonight except for Oubre, who has been upgraded to questionable, so he might be close. The Sixers healthy. We're going to have to watch that game tonight. Oh, he's a Michigan guy. Gotcha. Darnold, 13 interceptions and 8 fumbles this year? Really? Wow. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. Shows how much I'm paying attention, right? We should be more fired up for the Knicks. I'm kind of annoyed that Mark Moschitelli was here and made multiple comments. I trashed his Villanova Wildcats, and he chose to change the subject. I can't believe I couldn't get Marky Mark fired up by calling them the Nova Knicks or by calling Villanova fraud Philly school. Can't believe that didn't piss him off more earlier in the show. Damn. I really thought I'd get him all pissed off there, but oh well. Anyway, Seahawks defense is amazing. They keep balling the offense out when they turn the ball over. Yeah, I had no idea they turned the ball over that much. I really did not. Had no clue on that. So thanks for that information. I appreciate that. I do. I've already closed my notebook for the day. So I'm pretty much settled knowing that the Eagles are going to win 24-13. Can't stand Brunson. He leans into the defender. I can't stand the Knicks, period, Adam. Although I will say, if you haven't, look at the video of them celebrating the cup. Okay? And Josh Hart, what he did to Jalen Brunson in that team thing. Just look at it. We just witnessed the NFC Championship game last night. I hope not, Mitch. I hope not, Mitchie Poo. Which one of those would you prefer the Eagles to face in the championship game? But yeah, it's a possibility. We put an Edgecombe on McCain or on Brunson. Edgecombe on Brunson? Sure. Absolutely. It's funny. The Sixers are 25 games into the season, so they're over past the quarter mark. They are in the 6th seed in the conference. The Knicks are obviously one of the best teams in the NBA. We're going to have a majority of our team minus Kelly Oubre out there tonight. This is a big measuring. The conversation that everyone's like, why is Jared McCain in trade rumors? You got a plethora of guards. Tonight's one of those games where we can have a measuring stick of where we stand, whether someone like a Jared McCain should be on the trade block. We are not making the championship game. Time will tell on that, Mitchie Poo. I mean, I would trade McCain in the right deal. I don't know what that right deal is. Whether Mitchie Poo would, I don't know. Everybody's tradable in every sport in the right deal. Even Jalen Hurts is tradable. Not for Joe Burrow, but there is no such thing as an untradeable athlete, in my opinion, at all. But tonight's game against the Knicks for the Sixers starts putting the season into a little bit better perspective to understand who you can or cannot trade, whether it's worth taking a risk or not in trading somebody, or that Clippers draft pick, because that Clippers draft pick that we own is probably the most valuable asset since they're going to be terrible now for the next 2 years. I don't know if I'm trading Jared McCain for a backup, right? Now, maybe I would trade Jared McCain and Paul George in a deal that got us that depth big and something else, and then we'll see. Stay healthy, and they will be back. Who, the Sixers? I'm not just saying. Look, exactly. There's so many people. Like, I was out and about yesterday, so I was behind on social media. I got home last night. I'm paging through Twitter, and there's just so many people bashing this theory that McCain could get traded. And I get it. Nobody wants to trade Jared McCain, but you've got 4 young guards. You don't need 4 young guards, right? You need something else. What that is, I don't know. What are your assets? One of those young guards and that Clippers pick. In the right deal, I move him in a heartbeat. Grimes is gone. He's got a no-trade clause with his 1-year deal. So if you wanted to move Grimes, you would have to get him to agree to that, which I doubt he would do. So if you're trading one of your guards, it's either Edgecombe or McCain. McCain's already blown out his knee once. So McCain would be the most logical if you need to move a young guard as an asset at the deadline. McCain is it. I'm willing to go McCain and build around Edgecombe and Maxey. McCain is the odd man out. It pains me to say it. I loved what I saw from him last year. I'm a huge McCain fan too. I love the energy. I love the presence. I love his game. Grimes may go if they think they're close. The only thing with Grimes is I read because of the what kind of a contract he signed, he's got a full no-trade clause. So to trade him, you'd have to have him approve it. We can't afford him, Nooms. No, of course. The turnovers from Grimes may do him in. Look, you guys know my opinion. Grimes, to me, is a backup guard. He's not a starter on a real, true contender. I've always said that he's impressed me this year more than last year. But Grimes, to me, is the 3rd or 4th guy in a backcourt on most teams. If he had no trade clause, if that wasn't there, he'd be easy. But I think you get much more value from McCain. Grimes is way better off the bench. Absolutely. Absolutely agree with you on that. But I think it's crazy how many Sixers fans and so many Sixers content creators are like, how dare they even remotely consider trading McCain? No, you don't do it. Get the fook out of here with that. You absolutely can trade Jared McCain. For what? I don't know. For who? Don't ask me. But he's not untouchable by any means. I said it before. McCain is about 4 weeks into the 6 weeks. He needs to be back. And it's fine. I'm not doubting Jared McCain, the player. I fully believe he will be fully back to health and dominating like he did his rookie year for a month. Question just is, does he fit in this team's future? Everybody. Tyrese Maxey there's a value to Tyrese Maxey. There's a value to Jalen Hurts. There's a value to Andrew Painter. There's a value on Mitchie Poo. Everybody is tradable. I am the only untouchable in the history of sports. But yes, when did he play Kyle Lowry over Jared McCain? I've seen Kyle Lowry get into a couple games this year for a couple minutes. And the first thing I always do is I go online and look for Mitchie Poo's stream when I'm awake for it. So, yes, it is what it is. Look, guys, we're past the 9:30 mark. I'm going to wrap this baby up. His game relied on so much direction change and off-ball cutting and hesitation. And it's taken time to get the confidence back in the legs to do that. And I get that. Again, I'm not writing off Jared McCain, the player. I'm just saying we got a plethora at a position. It's a wrap. This show is a wrap. That's for sure. But I'll be back tomorrow. Don't worry. I'll be back. That's right. Deuces. That's right, Bach. Guys, if you haven't yet, like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. I'll be back tomorrow. Look for the shorts and everything else that comes. Guys, everybody have a great day. I would greatly appreciate you guys liking and subscribing and sharing. We'll be back tomorrow for the Eagles watch party. About 4:45, I'll be live, guys. Everybody have a great Friday. Go Birds. Bubbles up.